So I tried to record this video earlier and give you guys some good tips on pitching. However, my mic is not being very nice. So we're going to try this again. Hello, my name is Trevor May. I am a Major League Baseball player for the Minnesota Twins and also a Twitch streamer. I'm making my first baseball-related video today. I'm really interested to see how this goes. So at the end of the video, don't forget to drop some comments in the comments below. Give me some ideas for some new expansions we can do on some of the information I give today. And don't forget to drop a subscription and hit the bell. And also give me a thumbs up and give me a like for there. All right. So today I want to cover a couple things really quickly. All right. I want to go over the pitches that I throw, and then the idea of why I throw what I throw, and a little bit of one-on-one knowledge on kind of how the art of pitching has progressed recently in baseball. Okay, it's a question I've gotten a lot. Hey, how do you throw your slider? How do you throw your curveball? How do you throw your fastball? So I wanted to just go over the pitches and then explain why I am approaching the pitching the way that I approach it, and then some of the schools of thought into why pitches are chosen. All right. So firstly, let's go over fastballs. All right. I throw vast majority of the time, especially out of the bullpen. Now that I'm a full-time bullpen arm, is the four-seam fastball. Now I know it's kind of light here, but you can see that my fingers are on the right side of the ball because I'm right-handed. On the outside of the ball is the horseshoe, and then my two fingers go directly across the horseshoe. Okay, that is a classic four-seam fastball. You can also throw with the horseshoe in. It is all preference based on how comfortable this seam is in your fingers. When you throw the ball, everything depends on the tips of your fingers and the pressure you put on the seam. Now, some guys go closer together. Some guys go farther apart. What I've noticed is a lot of guys who have natural cut on their ball seem to put their fingers closer together, and they seem to throw a horseshoe in. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to give you cut on your ball. It's just if you notice that about it and that's the way you throw, some of those things might be affecting the way that your ball moves, because that's how you move it, is by putting pressure on different parts of the ball. Now, I throw a four-seam fastball. This gives natural arm side run, meaning when you throw cut, it goes against your arm. This is my right arm. If the ball moves to the right, that's called arm side run. If it moves to the left, that's called cut. Okay. So my four seam has a little bit of arm side run, and that's just naturally how it comes out of my fingers, because the way my hands are made, the length of my fingers, the way that they curve, the way that I put pressure on the ball, all those things, those all factor in the way the ball moves. Okay. The other schools of thought are two seam or sinker, right? A lot of guys throw sinkers. The ball moves down or arm side a lot more with the two seam than the four seam, or they'll throw a one seam. They get one seam can be thrown like this. It can be thrown like this. You can throw a no seam completely inside the finger, inside the horseshoe, and you got no finger on a seam. Sometimes that's comfortable, guys. A lot of times the one seam and the two seam give a little bit more sink to the guys that don't necessarily get enough sink from their two seam. Okay. Now, with fastballs, there are two things that pitcher is probably trying to do. One is throw the ball underneath the bat, or throw the ball above the bat. Those are the two options with fastballs. Okay. Guys who throw sinkers are trying to throw underneath the ball, or if the ball's hit, it's going to be hit mostly on the ground. Guys that throw four seams are going to try to throw the ball above the bat, or when it's hit, it's going to be popped up. Those are the two. Those are the ideal outcomes for pitchers when they throw fastballs. Okay, I am a four seam guy because I have something that we call above average spin rate, which isn't crazy high, but it's above average, and also efficient carry on my four seam. Now, what that means is the ball spins at a high rate, and then the axis that it's spinning on is very consistent, meaning its path, its defiance of gravity is high. So what hitters do when they hit is they watch the ball out of your hand, and then they compensate for gravity naturally, because we all do, and everything we do, compensate for gravity, and then we try to predict where the ball is going to be. You identify a fastball, and you identify how that fastball is going to move. Now, if you throw a high efficiency, high spin rate fastball, example, my friend Ryan Presley does this very well, and you see him get swings and misses high in the zone. It's one, from velocity, and two, because the ball looks like it's going to be lower than it actually is, aka an invisible, aka high efficiency spin rate. I swing under it, lots of swings and misses on fastballs in the zone, or above the zone even, right? You'll see that I throw up there quite a bit too. Same idea, okay? Sinkers, on the other hand, want to move below. They have lower spin rates, more wobble, meaning less efficiency, meaning the ball is going to drop more. So guys see the ball, they see the spin, they go to hit it, and they're above it. And they'll swing. A guy like Zach Britton, crazy low spin rate sinker, heavy, called heavy, because when you hit it, you don't hit it square ever, and it feels like you hit a like a lead ball. He throws fastballs like it looks like it's gonna be down the middle and bounces. That's incredible, right? That's a different type of movement than me, but it's the same idea. Up and down, right? Up seems to be the style of baseball played. A lot of home runs, a lot of guys up like trying to lift the ball, and that gets lots of swing and misses high in the zone. So you see guys that throw high spin rate, high efficiency up in the zone, they tend to have higher strikeouts, right? For example, Eovaldi was doing it very well in the playoffs last year. Very similar, right? Secondly, now there's my fastballs. I throw a 4-seam fastball vast majority of the time, and there's every once in a while I throw a 2-seam. Just based on the guy. Some guys hit my 2-seam worse than my 4-seam. Vast majority, though, it's 4-seam all the way. Okay, and then next I'll throw my changeup. I'll show you how to throw my changeup, just to show how it changes from fastball to changeup. So I throw a classic circle changeup. You see this? Sorry, you see the circle there, right? I have big enough hands where I can complete the circle. This finger kind of claws underneath it to take a little bit off of it. And then if you watch how I throw my 4-seam, I can literally switch my fingers back and forth. These two fingers then become these two fingers, which slows the ball down even more. These two provide resistance. You get a a little bit slower spin rate, which slows the ball down. But more important thing is these two fingers get me on the exact same spin trajectory as my 4-seam. So it looks exactly the same. Now, I'm not going to get as much movement, but I am going to get the perception of a 4-seam fastball, which is what guys want to hit out is a 4-seam fastball. It's the easiest pitch to hit out. So if I can throw my changeup exactly where I throw my 4-seam, all corners of the zone, it's going to be wildly successful because it's going to be slower. And then it's all about depth perception and playing with that instead of movement. That's the way that I use mine, right? The other school of thought is throw a 2-seam changeup off of your sinker. You want it to look exactly the same. So that's slower. It actually drops more, and guys swing over it more. It'll be a swing and miss pitch. Guys will swing at changeups in the dirt as opposed to my changeup in the dirt. If it looks like my 4-seam in the dirt, they're not going to swing at it because they know that my 4-seam in the dirt isn't a strike. So they're not going to swing at a changeup because it's not moving out of the zone. It was already out of the zone the whole time, if that makes sense. Okay? Nextly, we'll show you my curveball. Now, I do a full spike knuckle curve, right? So this middle finger is on this outside seam with the horseshoe in towards me. Then I put my full knuckle on the inside of the seam. Now, a disclaimer. I literally have my entire finger wrapped. If I pull my finger out, it's all white from being jammed in there. This ball is fully in my hand like this. And this is comfortable to me. That is going to produce a slower curveball because this finger is going to produce a lot of resistance and not a lot of free movement. So there's only one path the ball can really come out as I flick my finger out. And it gives me a consistent spin, but it's a slower curveball on average. That's okay because it's more of a tumbling action and it works off my 4-seam fastball. It looks like it's up. So I throw heaters up, I throw a curveball off. They look like the same pitch halfway there, and they diverge paths. It's called tunneling. You may have seen Trevor Bauer or other guys, baseball guys, talk about this on social media. Tunneling is the idea that the ball, every pitch looks exactly the same for a long period of time out of your hand, right? And that's very hard to hit if you ask any hitter, okay? So I want to tunnel that off my fastball. I want to tunnel my changeup off my fastball as well because it does move more because it's slower, just not a lot, right? So those are my 3 big pitches I throw out of the bullpen. Now the other idea, so if we're talking about my tunneling, we're moving off the same trajectory. That is the vertical axis, the y-axis, right? I want the ball to be either up or down. Either up or down. I don't want it to diverge on the x-axis much at all because the forward and back plane is easier for a hitter to determine if a ball is going away from them or into them that with my movement than it is up or down. So I try to really, really double down on the up and down factors. So I throw things that work that way. So I throw a slider, and I throw this is now let's let the light fix this a little bit. There we go. It is basically horseshoe in, fastball, fingers brought a little bit close together, and then have the horseshoe that's turned more towards you, and then pull down on this. This finger really pulls down that seam, and you get the sideways action, the hard spinning slider. It's high 80s. It's harder than my curveball. There's times where I need something for a strike that's breaking a little bit that's going to be mishit. Maybe get an early swing and miss, or an early weak swing, or some sort of wrinkle, because I've been throwing a lot of pitches my other three, and I don't have control over them. That's the way I use my slider. Now, that said, it moves more on the x-axis away and into hitters, and that is easier to perceive for me than the other three pitches. So it's become my final pitch. Also, sinkers, don't throw them very much anyways. So four seam, curveball, and changeup is mostly what I use. Okay, the other school of thought is using the x-axis more than the y-axis, sinkers and sliders. Right? Roy Halladay was extremely good at this, locating both the cutter moving this way and the sinker moving that way, and they had the exact same movement, except they got to a point and they went that way or that way. Once you do that, it's very hard to make a decision late, and you miss hit the ball quite a bit. Roy Halladay has lots and lots and lots of complete games and no hitters to show for it, right? And he was one of the best at controlling those pitches I've ever seen. Now, that's not the way that I used to try to work like that as a starter, but it wasn't playing to my strengths. And so that's what I'm trying to do, identify my strengths, and then move forward with them and continue to improve those things, and add wrinkles when I can, and make good decisions, and have educated reasons why I make the decisions I make. But I know I threw a lot of terms at you today. I think this is a prime opportunity for you guys to kind of bring in a lot of this 101 information, kind of this basic stuff, chew on it a little bit, and then we can start expanding, because that's something I'm really interested in doing, and I like to have kind of a blanket answer for a lot of the things that you're asking me. And I also want to start adding some baseball stuff here to the channel. So don't forget, go down in the comments, pick something that you heard there and you would like expanded upon, or other baseball related activities, or philosophies that you would like to discuss, and maybe we'll make a video in the future in this series. Who knows? And don't forget to hit the little thumbs up button. Give me a like, man. The more likes we get, the happier Trevor is. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We got lots of Fortnite, lots of all kinds of gaming stuff, and a lot of stuff coming in the future as well. So thank you so much for your time. I hope this was informative, and I will see you next time.